So when I was younger, me being overweight was clearly preventing me from ever being a quick footballer. However, even when I lost the weight, I still wasn't as quick as I am now, simply because I wasn't doing a few simple steps. So today I'm going to teach you how to increase your pace and become a faster footballer overall. Now, the number one thing you need to do to become a faster footballer is to literally do sprint training. Literally train to become faster. Now, I know that sounds so self-explanatory, but I say this because not many footballers, dedicate time, dedicate sessions to actually just, doing sprints, whether that's 40-yard sprints, 60-yard sprints, 100 yards, 120 yards. Not many footballers actually dedicate that time into it, and then they wonder why they're not getting faster. In the process of me losing weight, I wasn't doing any sort of explosive training. I wasn't doing any sort of sprints, any sort of like shuttle runs. I was literally just running long distances, literally just doing 5Ks every single day. And I know a lot of footballers are like this as well, because when you think of football, you think, okay, long distance, 90 minutes, you have to be fit. You always hear your coaches saying you have to be fit. I'm pretty sure in your team training sessions, you've never probably done, sprint training. It's always, what is it always? It's always 12-minute Cooper runs, or you're doing like just long distance, to the end of the 11-a-side pitch and back, or you're doing like bleep tests. Everything is sort of long distance, because obviously when you think of football, it's like 90 minutes. You have to be able to, keep up. And it's all about fitness. However, I feel like, especially in team training sessions, you don't really get to work on your actual pace, the actual explosiveness, that burst for like 10, 15, or even 20 seconds. So I would personally say dedicate 2 to 3 times in a week where you do sessions where you completely just focus on sprinting. You completely just focus on improving your pace. Now, my routine is literally where I'd go to the parkour, I'd go to the AstroTurf, and I literally just set out cones. I'll do a 40-yard sprint, an 80-yard sprint, and a 120-yard sprint. So how I set it out is I'll do the 40 first, then I'll do the 80, then I'll do the 120, and then I'll rest, you understand? So after each sprint, I'll just walk back, and then as soon as I get back to the starting line, I go again. But once I complete that set of 3, I'll rest for like 2 minutes, you understand? And basically that's just what I do. I'll do that probably about 5 times. And in my opinion, to make it more fun, to make it less boring, bring a football with you, In between your breaks, you can get your touches in, do a few kick-ups, do a few passes against the wall. Whatever you want to do, a few close control, a bit of dribbling, just bring a football with you, because obviously you're getting your touches in, which is always great, and then it also just makes it less boring, basically, because it can be boring, just sprinting, coming back, because obviously as footballers we don't really like, the physical side. Everybody wants the ball, let's be honest. We all want the ball. There's a reason why when we get to like the first day of pre-season and you see no footballs, there's a reason why everyone's just like, oh my days, like it's just fitness. Like no footballer, obviously we understand the importance of it, but no footballer actually just wants a session where it's just fitness, you understand? We all want we all want touches of the football. So bring a football with you, and yeah, literally just get your touches in between your breaks. But how I personally do it, you can do it a different way, but yeah, literally like I said, it's just I'll sprint 40 yards, walk back to the starting line. As soon as I get back to the starting line, sprint again, 80, come back, 120, come back, and then I'll rest. And then I'll rest probably in that period, get my touches in, and then yeah, 2-3 minutes, and then go again. One weakness that many footballers have is improving their weak foot. For some reason, a lot of players I've spoken to just can't seem to figure out how to improve their weak foot, whether they're right-footed or left-footed. But luckily for you, I've made a course on how to improve your weak foot. This course is currently in the works. In this course, I'm going to be showing you drills. I'm going to be teaching you how to get better at, different aspects of the game in terms of your weak foot. So passing, your shooting, your dribbling, and I'll be teaching you stuff outside of the pitch that can actually help your weak foot as well, things that no other football YouTuber is talking about. So if you're interested, if you want to improve your weak foot, click the first link in the description, get the course, and trust me, you won't regret. Your weak foot will 100% improve. So yeah, depending on how much time you have during the week, you can do this either 2, 3 times a week. Even if you want to do it 4 times a week, you understand? I wouldn't recommend 4 times because that sort of brings fatigue, you understand? I feel like with sprints it's very high intensity, you understand? Especially if you're starting out. I remember when I did like my first like proper sprint training, you know what I'm saying? Proper first session where I was just dedicated to, doing sprints, doing about 10 to 15 sprints. I remember I woke up the next morning, my hamstrings and my glutes were screaming, bro. Oh my days, my calves, hamstring, glutes, screaming, bro. I could barely get out of bed, you know what I'm saying? I could barely get out of bed, I was aching. So yeah, literally if you've never actually done, you know, proper sprint training before, this should just take it easy, you understand? Take it easy. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to, you know, like 15 sprints. I'd say start off with like 8, start off with like 7 or 8, and then sort of work your way up. The crazy thing is, when I started doing sprints, I realized that I didn't actually know how to sprint. Like, what I mean by that is that I didn't actually know, you know, the technique of, you know, having to, you know, drive your knees up, you know, moving your arms, and actually, you know, because obviously when you sprint, you're not meant to, you know, breathe in and out. A lot of players, when they're sprinting, you're not meant to do that. You're literally meant to, you know, hold your breath, breathe as little as possible when you're sprinting, you understand? So just these little things, I didn't really know how to sprint. And obviously now that I understand how to sprint, obviously, you know, now in the game I can turn on the jets, whether that's, you know, running forward to join an attack, running with the ball, or running backwards defensively to, you know, make a recovery run. Make sure in your training you vary the distances as well. Obviously you want great sprint speed, but you also want that great acceleration. If you really want to just focus purely on acceleration, you can do drills like shuttle runs, you understand? Shuttle runs are a great drill for your acceleration and your change of direction. Shuttle runs, if you don't know, is basically just suicides, where you go to a distance and back, there and back, there and back, different distances, you understand? But vary the distances, because like I said, you want to be quick over 5 yards, but you also want to have the ability to be quick over 20, 40, 60, and so on. So yeah, that's literally how you become a faster footballer. A viewer asked me this question in the comments, and it's literally just as simple as that. Sounds so self-explanatory, but majority of footballers don't actually dedicate the time. They don't dedicate those 2-3 sessions a week just purely focusing on their speed, you understand? Because obviously football is a skill-based game as well, so obviously you want to focus on the technical side more, getting your touches in, whatever part of your game you need to improve, whether that's your shooting, passing, etc., you understand? But if you actually want to, you know, really focus on getting faster, if you feel like you being slow is really holding you back as a footballer, then in my opinion do that. 2 to 3 sessions a week of just sprint training. Do start off with like 7 or 8 sprints, and then find your routine that you like, slowly build up, and then most importantly for me, vary the distances so you can work on both your acceleration and your sprint speed, you understand? But that's the vid for today. I hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.